Hello, my name is Eric. This is Freestyle Philosophy number 3, I think. I'm kind of doing like a reboot on the series so that I both post on YouTube and on the Spotify and the iTunes, Apple type podcast platforms. I am Eric, as I said. I am a scooter rider. I am 21 years old and I am interested in all sorts of ways you can improve for whatever it is you're doing. So, especially philosophy, mindset, ideas, learning from lessons, reading, whatever, for improving yourself and reaching your goals. That's essentially what I'm about. And so, this type of series is kind of like me freestyling on some lessons that I've learned, or workout philosophies, or specific tactics and strategies that I have learned for scootering, be it how you can improve at a certain trick, or how you can go about your sessions or daily structures to enhance your improvement. As I'm kind of walking that path myself and pursuing improvement, I guess. Suffice to say, today I wanted to elaborate a bit, or continue a bit on an idea I had a couple episodes ago. The whole thing of practicing the basics, the fundamentals. Because as I stated in that one, if you didn't listen to it, I feel like I have rushed towards the end with certain styles and certain tricks and certain ways of riding, and then in other aspects I still have a lot to work on. And I feel like a beginner in some tricks and then advanced in other tricks, if that makes sense. And this is like the whole, when you're a kid or you're a youth and you want to get bangers and you want to get big tricks, and you rush towards the end and you just rush and you practice and you land once and then you go to the next and you just fail and fail and fail and fail until you land, without actually learning anything, because you just get a trick once and then move on to the next, all for impressing your homies, or for the insta clip you're trying to get, whatever the case may be. Sometimes this is fun and it's a nice process to learn a new trick, but more often than not, this is just a source of or coming from impatience and rushing the process because you see the trick everyone else around you or on Instagram do. And I think that's a lot of it, like social media, seeing everyone throwing down bangers. And so there has kind of, I don't want to call it a culture, but it's kind of like a phenomenon where we all have had or still are on a path of just throwing down for Instagram, for Insta clips. Some do it real well, but I think there's other reasons for that. And others then just see what they see on Instagram and think, okay, I improve by try harding to get one banger that I'm probably not gonna get because it's way outside my skill range. The thing you don't see is the practicing of fundamentals. I think we undervalue the practice of the fundamentals. As I said in the last one, the fundamentals are kind of the techniques that both the beginners and the masters rely upon. And so if you can really get good at the foundations, then you're going to get even better at the hard tricks. And that's what you don't see, because the people that are really good on Instagram, they don't post the basic stuff, but they also practice. But if you see them in real life, I can assure you that they're real good at the basics too. They don't just go to the park and just start harding a big ass banger before even being warmed up and having practiced their basics. I can assure you that people who are really Instagram good or video part good, they also have a very high competence level when it comes to basic skills. And I want to use martial arts as an example, specifically, for example, jiu-jitsu. Because, in certain martial arts like jiu-jitsu, they have belts, degrees of competence, let's say. We don't have that in scootering, but I really think we should, or we should have some sort of, this is just me freestyling, as I said, just talking about what's on my mind, but I feel like we forget the sense of, oh, so you're down here, you shouldn't practice the stuff that's up here yet. You should master all of the basics, then move to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level, instead of, as I have, go like this. Because I still have techniques that are all the way down here in skill level. And then some tricks I would say myself that I haven't gotten pretty good at, but then there's a lot of tricks in between, and some down here, some I haven't even tried. And that just creates imbalances. And so, you know, in certain martial arts, you have like the white belt being all the way down, and you have a black belt at top. A white belt shouldn't practice the sort of big things that a black belt is practicing. Now I'm talking like metaphorically, but I'm talking for scootering, you know. And so there's no point in rushing the process and trying to get a big banger because you saw someone do it on Instagram when you're still down here. When you're still down here, you should be patient and focus on those techniques. Because what ends up happening if you don't master the basics before you move on to the next level is that in some years, when you maybe like are up here in some few tricks, you still have to practice the stuff down here and move backwards because you haven't mastered it, and then you start suffering for it. Be it perhaps you got really good at throwing down bangers on resi, but you haven't practiced your flow and lines at all, and so when you go compete, you suffer for it, and you're not able to land your tricks clean and then go and maintain speed and do the next trick. I'd say in this regard, it's much, much, much more important to master the basics of flowing around and doing lines with small, small tricks rather than being able to throw down a huge, huge trick one time on a resi. Because that one trick you land for Instagram, it's cool, and the feeling you get of overcoming that demon, that's amazing. And I don't think there's any bad with that. Like, it's a process and you conquer a goal, and that's good. But if you do so and sort of just throw away whatever basics you should have practiced, then you're going to create imbalances. And this is just my opinion. This is me speaking directly for my own experience and touching on my own issues and my obstacles and mistakes, essentially, because I feel like it's a mistake that I didn't practice more on the basics because I rushed towards the end. Or not necessarily the end, but I rushed towards an outcome. I didn't focus on the process of consistently, slowly improving. I skipped a lot of levels and tried to get bigger tricks, and that resulted in my improvement and progression being all over the place. Now, this might not be the case for you. Maybe you don't agree, and that's okay, because as I said, this is my own experience. This is what has happened to me. Perhaps you've been lucky and you have been able to practice the basics and sort of improve in a balanced or well-rounded way. But I'm just explaining my experience and my mistakes so that maybe you can take something from it or get a little insight, so that, or idea that you could use for yourself to improve better and to avoid creating weak foundations, because weak foundations, they're gonna hurt. Now I'm gonna keep this short because I don't want to repeat too much of what I said in the first freestyle philosophy. But just to recap, I think we should be a bit slower and more patient with our improvement, because as we can see in other modalities, other sports, they kind of have a level and a stair-stepping level, if you could call it that. Like, for example, with the belts in martial arts. And so skipping levels and working on something above your skill level when you're still down here is probably bad. In the short time, it feels boring to practice the basics when you can do them, but if you can master them, then you're going to progress real faster and a lot more consistently and confidently, let's say, because then when you learn a technique that's in your range of skill, then that's actually going to stick. It's not just going to be something you get once and then never land again. It's going to be something you can do confidently because you have practiced the right way. And this is what I feel like I haven't done. Because now I feel like I'm going to have to... I don't know exactly where I would be if I was comparing to like belts in martial arts. Certainly not a black belt by any means, but I feel like I have some techniques that are still down here in skill level, and so now I'm gonna have to work backwards and focus down there because I rushed the process. As I said in the last episode, I'm not gonna repeat myself more now, but I think you get the idea. Stay at your skill level, push yourself just outside your comfort zone, just outside your abilities, just outside your range of skills, and improve slowly but consistently. Focus on getting real good at the tricks that you kind of already can do or you have learned but you're not confident at. Practice those, get really good at those, and then slowly add on top and improve and progress and push yourself. But don't skip levels. That's me for today. This was Freestyle Philosophy, essentially scooter mindsets and delving into some philosophies for improving yourself, delving into some ideas and lessons I have been through, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this could be practical to use, this knowledge. I hope you could gain something from it, whatever. I'm gonna go get on with my day. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.